Should I start your time? Ready?
Oh, I have time?
2 minutes.
I literally didn't think about this. But at least I know I'm not going to have to do this for another while. If it has to be an experience, I'm not going to be able to relate it over in a way that's interesting or anything. I'm thinking right now that's sort of why I'm not speaking so loud yet. Okay. Still thinking out loud. I guess I'll just speak about the Farbrengen last night because that's an experience I had. But Sweet did bring up a lot of good points regarding the way we, the whole thing is just a big relationship thing. Like, where does it start? Where are we? Like, the big question is really, where do we start? Like, who's gonna be the one to change it? And everyone's like, this guy does this in this situation, this guy does that in that situation, meaning, like, if someone comes up, like, someone wants that emotional support, they're not giving what needs to be given in order to receive that emotional support. The people who are receiving it can't deal with it because of this and this. And it doesn't seem like there's going to be an end to that. Because, like, you know, where's the start point? Where's that? Like, there's nowhere to start there. Just, this is the way it is. And then, like, the big question, what should we do? But what can be done if nobody's willing to give in? And I think that, like, there's a way to communicate everything. And, at a certain point, we all have, like, that breaking point. But I think that breaking point could be pushed very, very far. Like, way further past what we think. But, like, we say, like, this is as far as I can go with my emotion, and then that's it. I can't deal with it anymore. If, like, someone pushes me past this point, I'm done. But I think if you really want to help someone, there is no breaking point. That point it's never reached. That means when someone's really annoying me, then, like, no matter what they do, I'm still there for them. I'm not going to, like, give them all the emotional support all times, like, just constant. You know, there's times for that, and there's times for normal conversation. And also there's times to tell someone off when they're doing something wrong, but in a healthy way. I see a lot of times people are, like, just get frustrated and they just lash out. I mean, not here. I mean, like, I've seen it. I've seen it with myself. And, like, lashing out is the worst thing for someone who needs that support. They need to be spoken to, but not in an emotional way, but, like, in a way that, you know, speaks to them. I don't know if that explains anything. Time's done.
Okay, let's do it. You want to start the album? Oh.
I really like them.
You know what? Roll number 3, yeah?
Do you want to? I'm asking if you want to.
I'm watching the video from yesterday. Very good, by the way. Just, if we could, just try to a little bit louder.
Check your voice.
You bring the mic up closer.
We could, then have to pass it around.
Or
you know what? Maybe
can hear it, can hear it.
They will buy
Just
20
look
mics. I'm serious.
There.
They will buy 20 mics.
Speak to the board.
You get 20 mics. I don't know where you're going to plug it into.
If you buy them,
Don't buy it.
Okay, yeah.
You want me to do
I would love to.
In light of the above, it is obviously the sacred duty of every near and dear one, and especially of a parent, do all things possible to promote the teenager's peace of mind and thereby make his struggle easier, and certainly to avoid anything which might weaken his willpower to resist the influence of the street, etc.
In light of the above, it is obviously the sacred duty of every near and dear one, and especially of parents, to do all things possible to promote the teenager's peace of mind, thereby make his struggle easier, and certainly to avoid anything which might awaken his willpower to resist the influence of the street, etc.
In light of the above, it is obviously the sacred duty of every near and dear one, and especially of parents, to do all things possible to promote the teenager's peace of mind and thereby make his struggles easier, and certainly to avoid anything which might weaken his willpower to resist the influences of the street, etc.
Light of above is obvious the sacred duty of every near and dear one, especially of parents, to do all things possible to promote the teenager's peace of mind, thereby make his struggle easier. Certain to avoid anything which might weaken his willpower to resist the influence of the street.
In light of the above, it's obviously sacred for every near and dear one, especially of parents, to do all things possible to promote teenagers' peace of mind and thereby make his struggles easier. Certainly to avoid anything which might weaken his willpower to resist the influences of the street.
Huh?
Into the chat.
Post it, huh?
Did we do 5?
Yeah.
So I do in, right?
Yes.
Involved.
Mashiach.
Light. Noah.
Light, awareness.
Light or
Of Father.
Oh,
The table.
idea.
Sacred. Cool.
Will you start?
Next time?
You got a minute.
I get a minute?
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here from now on. You get a minute every time first? I love it.
Okay, go ahead.
So the words that jumped out at me were, "What is my job? Like, what's the guy's having a real difficult time in his life right now. My mission is to promote the teenager's peace of mind. That's my job. That means with a father role, that my number one question I have to ask is, when everything I'm doing is that helping the teenager have peace of mind. That means, for example, if I tell him, you're in trouble, I unsettled his mind. If anything that I do, meaning I know for myself, if I'm in a depressed state, I'm going for the bag of cookies. Meaning the walls, as an adult, I know that my walls come down if I'm in a bad state of mind. How much more so when a teenager is already battling 10 times more than me. My one mission, what I was saying, is to promote this teenager's peace of mind.
Yep, I think it's very clear, number 3, and it's corresponding to the previous 2 paragraphs. Is just what the parent's job is, just stating what they have to do. Is the struggle is there, and you have to make sure this influence doesn't kick in and doesn't go off the derech or whatever way you take it in. And it tells you in the first 2 that there is a challenges. There's going to be times. There is a time in this world. And just make sure it goes on this line. It's not that crooked. Yeah. Pass, but it's too far. So, got up and
You get a minute and 10 seconds.
Fantastic.
it's
That's a good way to do it.
God's plan.
No, that's it. Everybody takes
It's really 10 seconds left.
You want the rest of them? No, I'm just kidding. So you're always talking about like this guy. You're always making it practical right away. It's cool. No, I was like thinking about the light in our room situation. So that's what triggered that. And what does make what's making a teenager struggle easier? Like, what would make him be able to resist things on the street? I guess that would entail like making sure that he's a hobby, making sure he's busy with something, because then there's no time to like just waste and find other things to do. How do you make a teenager find something to do? Like what can you do to make someone find their passion or whatever it is, the thing that keeps them busy, the thing that will keep them busy for the rest of their life?
I totally agree with Shalom. I think the best way to stay off anything that's pretty negative is by keeping yourself super busy. And thank God I was blessed with that, especially last year. I got it. I mean, like I always had it, but like it really grew when I came to Jets last year. My curiosity just started pumping up, and I just there's so many options to like do anything. So I was just like, yo, let's try everything, you know. And that really kept me busy, which was really good. I don't know why, I just noticed yesterday when I was reading this, it seemed more like whoever was saying to like back off your child, like don't put so much pressure on him. And then I read it again today, and it seems more like it's saying do something about it. So I don't know. I guess I'm getting mixed feelings about what the situation is. Either do you back off? Do you help him out? Do you sometimes back off? I don't know. But I guess we'll talk about
Yeah, I was thinking sort of the same as you about that. I feel like if you give the kid too much freedom, then I guess it's just you can do whatever he wants at the same time. So I think the Rebbe is trying to say is you do both. Sometimes you give him freedom, sometimes you don't. You have to, I guess, figure that moderation out. And yeah.
Good, it's a deterrent to pass, so get the step up. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good to see you, and thank you for being here. So I want to respond to some things, but first I want to say that it's how the Rebbe says over here. It is the sacred duty of every near and dear one. And being that I know already that this is applying to me, I also want to point out that it applies to friends. Because the friends have like the most impactful impact on their friends, and it's and have a huge influence and pressure that come from friends, and you could alleviate that like so much easier than I can ever. I mean, I can do it with my friends. What are we trying to do? We're trying to strengthen his willpower. That means I think that you can't make a teenager do anything.
Do anything. Oh yeah. I guess next round you're gonna answer the question. I'm just gonna add a little. How do you give the space by a teenager, still demand from him he has to do what he got to do? Where's that line where you're gonna say, okay, you're having too much problems in yeshiva or whatever it is, I'm gonna take a step back and let you do what you're gonna do. And it could lead to the opposite way. Where's that line for parent or in general anyone? Say, fine, I won't tell you, I won't judge you. Getting you going through a hard time. Where does that line go? That because if you start giving too much space, then even myself, I didn't have that much space when I had that free space. It was not a good thing. Or is it just being a positive motivation, no negative? I don't know. Some of that stuff.
I think a big idea is actually identifying what does it mean influences of the street. I feel like for everyone that's different in a certain aspect. What is it that I have to stay away from? And yeah, on the other end with Shalom and Abba, we're saying what am I supposed to be involved in? So I think that's a big idea, being able to identify and being able to lay over to the teenager that not only is this isn't like you have to stay away from this. There's a reason why. And this is not good for you. And actually being able to show that how the influences of the street, how the Rebbe calls it, is not the ideal way. Now there is an ideal way, there is an ideal lifestyle. And more, it's not only influence the lifestyle of the street. I think being able to identify the bad in that and the good in the right way to live.
30-second comments.
I think from my perspective, what it's saying is that the adult is very freaked out. He's rattled because the teenager is so reckless and like, thank you, I didn't have the word. And then the fact that he's rattled, he's going to trigger the teenager even more. Meaning, in order for me to be able to transmit peace of mind to a teenager, that is by me being strong like a pillar.
Yeah, I think like every kid and family is different situation. So what Mendel was saying about the line, I think you can't really. I mean, you do draw it, but you can't like draw it where the kid doesn't have space to do stuff. So what it's saying, the parent should to be there and protect him and make sure this doesn't happen, the influence and stuff. I think in my thing it's saying like just to be there when something happens right away and then show him the way, not stop him from doing it.
I'm very happy. That's all. That's what I have to say. Just one thing. Basically, I feel like I broke the chain. Yeah, you have to have peace of mind yourself. You can't do it for somebody else if you can't do it yourself. It's impossible. Yeah.
I agree with Shalom. I'm very, very happy. Yeah, so I was wondering, so Isaac mentioned that the person who had the most influence, as opposed to, like, besides a parent, would be a friend. So based on what the Rebbe is saying now, what would a friend do when his friend is in that situation? Or when his friend is going through something? Like, do you do the same steps, or do you...
Yeah, it's a bit out of it, very tired. Didn't really sleep last night. Random, yeah. Wake up early, go to sleep in the afternoon. Just messes up the schedule. Not very smart. Kind of rough.
Get extra 3 seconds.
Give you some of my time.
So I thought of, going to sleep early is the smart thing to do. You're saying well, not the smart songs. Anyways, so I don't know if we've noticed yet, but I don't know. I still consider myself a teenager. In many ways, I pretty much am. I'm still influenced by the streets, the influence on the streets. And I think that we're living this right now. It's not just an idea.
The idea. Okay. If radio letting emotion, I'm happy, but I'm tired. Nah. I'm still not a morning guy until you don't change over 2 days. So this is like murder. But what I want to say is from all the parent point of view, that's amazing. But what I've been brought as a friend, what's the best way to go on it? If someone that has the answer can get an extra 10 seconds to explain.
Just wanted to add that if a parent does it, if parenting is done in the right way, the idea of space and not space, that goes away. And if the kid just realizes, I'm here to give you love and to show you what the right way to live is, there's no do this, don't do that. This is just part of your life, and this isn't. And it's not even about saying don't do this because it's not part of your life. It's the explanation. It's the care to actually. Going further?
Yes. It's a good idea. No, I'm not giving someone 10.
Okay. In a further point, in the realm of faith, religion, and feeling, every individual is a world unto himself. This is not the case in the realm of reason, where one can argue, convince, and change a person's mind. In the former instances, young people especially become attached to an ideal, particularly one that is expressed in actual behavior.
A further point, in the realm of faith, religion, and feeling, every individual is a world unto himself. This is not the case in the realm of reason, where one can argue and convince and change the other person's mind. In the former instances, young people especially become attached to an ideal, particularly one that is expressed in actual behavior.
Further point, in the realm of faith, religion, and feeling, every individual is a world unto himself. This is not the case in the realm of reason, where one can argue and convince and change the other person's mind. In the former instances, young people, especially, become attached to an ideal, particularly one that is expressed in actual behavior.
Further point, in the realm of faith, religion, and feeling, every individual is a world unto himself. This is not the case in the realm of reason, where one can argue and convince and change the other person's mind. In former instances, young people especially become attached to an ideal, particularly in that one that is expressed in actual behavior.
Further point, in the realm of faith, religion, and feeling, every individual is a world unto himself. This is not the case in the realm of reason. One can argue and convince and change the other person's mind. In the former instances, young people especially become attached to an ideal, particularly one that is expressed in actual behavior.
A plus.
A student.
It's a word.
A student.
Closer.
Further.
Close.
Closer.
What?
Point.
Report cards.
Point finger.
In, out.
In.
Uh-oh. So teenagers are an interesting breed, right? So basically they're very challenging. They like change. They don't like it to be the status quo. That's why they're complaining against everybody else, especially adults. And that's why adults have such a difficult time with teenagers, because adults are finally comfortable. It's like I finally convinced myself, look, this is the way the world works. This is how it is. I'm going to stay right here. And the teenagers come in and like, what's wrong with everybody? Why is the whole world just sitting here while, messing up everything? And things are terrible. Let's change everything. And adults say, no, this is the way it works. So when you're dealing with, we're trying to deal with a teenager, the Rebbe is now pointing out that even in an idea, like if someone comes up with a concept, an idea like in the mind, so then you could convince him, you could kind of help him see something differently. When it comes to, like he says, faith, religion, feeling, not just reading. No. Well, it is.
The Rebbe writes so true. I don't know where I heard this line from, but I remember hearing that the Rebbe wrote why Dafka age of 18, the age of the army. They send people to the army, not 26, 25. Because when you're 18 and you give someone a weapon and you tell him to run, he's going to run. If you give a 30-year-old a gun and you tell him to run, he's going to run the opposite way. So I guess this is the Mila Ursa of teenagers sometimes. I don't think here it's saying in general what the concept is, but I think it's also beautiful Mila. They can get up and be stubborn and have a way and change things. Sometimes too much that bothers you, not only the adults, it bothers other people, teenagers, but that's how it is. I guess in this part I like the Miles paragraph. Either way, I can see the time.
Yeah, I think what Isaac said is the point, that the teenager has tons of, it's like the oiris of Toyu. Just we don't have a candle of tikkun. I think the idea is to be able to channel that. Realize that there is a lot. Meaning if parents could realize to actually start listening to the teenagers. Not just listen to their words, but listen to how they behave. Listen just to see around how they are. To really, I think when a kid is just showed love, like genuine, like I'm not doing this to tell you do's and don'ts. Tell you because this is the way to live. I think that changes a lot. Because then the kid realizes, okay, this is for me. It's not like my parents are trying to, they're mad with being Jewish, so they're putting it on me, giving me the do's and don'ts. It's like, no, this is the ideal, this is the way life is. And to be explained with, to be obviously given over with love, that's the main idea. That could touch the feeling also.
So I think you're blessed with the ideal setting, and Baruch Hashem for that. I want to say, like, what I'm hearing from the Rebbe is avuch v'may which is like,
No. Go ahead.
which is like, what is?
He started, no?
Oh, I started.
No, I started.
Isaac started.
Oh, what's the problem? Sorry, I mixed up.
That's
That's what happens when
Do
you
him
wake
in
up
the
the
third?
morning.
Go.
Go. It's yours.
So again, the question really, this is something where I feel the message gets warped. I say this like when a student walks into school and you tell him like, okay, you got to be good at, and then the list goes on and on. You gotta be good at math. You gotta be good at science. You gotta be good at making friends. You gotta be good at, at Tanya. You have to be good at Chumash. You have to be good in Tanya. You have to be good in everything, And meanwhile, the real truth is, if you could find that one thing that a person is passionate about already. Like imagine a guy who's like really passionate about Shabbos. It speaks to him already. He's into saving that money. He's into buying that delicious food and bringing it to the Shabbos table. If you could give that guy the encouragement to keep doing that and to do that in even a bigger way. And another guy, it's about davening. Another guy, it's about giving tzedakah. And if a person's able to say like, yo, if you got that one thing and you're anchored in it and you're pushing for it, you're good.
Yeah, what I really like is what it's saying right here. Every individual is a world unto himself, which I said before I read this last round, that every person is different. So no matter how like parenting you do or like this or that, there's always gonna be different, and there's not gonna be perfect parenting. Whether this kid's this